This is where they start a lot of the big races around New Zealand. Also the Whitbread and the Volvo Ocean races, those around the world races. They're all started here. And of course lots of local races. For New Zealanders it's a very, very known point here. The Aureki these centres in many parts of the world. And all they are. Well, this one here is quite unique as well. It was built, Cully Tarleton built it, and he was a famous New Zealand shipwreck diver, and he built it and out of old sewage tanks in the early days of Auckland. All the sewage would be pumped into huge great holding tanks, and then when the tide went out here it was just flushed straight out the sea. Well, obviously it wasn't too long before they had proper plants put in there for the sewage treatment, and these tanks remained empty for many years. Cully Tarleton came along and he cleaned all the tanks out, relined them, put in the acrylic tunnels, and he's got everything in there that you would see in the sea around the New Zealand coast. Also, they have an Antarctica exhibition there. They have snow and ice and conditions in there. They have breeding penguins in there. Further around, the nice green area there, it's called Aureki Marae. Bastion Point. And further on, right down the coast to the Firth of Thames, places called Maraetai, Miranda. That's where the hot springs are, down there in Miranda. A very nice place to go to. And then we'll see there's, we start coming around, further around to the left, you'll see in a minute when we turn, we start seeing the islands of the Hauraki Gulf. So now we've left the downtown Auckland area, and we're on the fringes of the Hauraki Gulf. Now in the Gulf, Auckland is built on a volcanic field, and there are 48 volcanic cones or extinct volcanoes. The volcano on the top of it, you can actually see the part of the volcanic crater from here if you look at the highest peak. This island was farmed successfully by various notable Aucklanders until in 1955 it was gifted to the people of Auckland. It's open for everybody to go and have a look at. There's no fast ferries that go there, but you can actually go by taxi or private boat. It's a pretty fantastic island there. Next one around, if you can just make it out there or coming across from Browns, is called Motahi. Motahi has quite a long history. It was also farmed by the Maori in the pre-European times. When the European came here, the government required it and used it as a quarantine station. So ships coming into the Auckland area would stop there first, and the health inspector would come on board and check them out. And if they were healthy and no diseases, ships would carry on down to Auckland to carry on their business. During the First World War, it was a prisoner of war camp, and the famous German armed merchant raider, Count Felix von Luckner, he was imprisoned on the island. He stole the commanding officer's motor launch and escaped, but he was caught and put back on. After that, it became a naval base for young sailors joining the Navy. They would spend a year down on the island. Okay, the land that we see up the right now, that's all part of the East Coast Bays, suburbs of Auckland. To get over here from downtown Auckland, you can go over the Harbour Bridge, or failing that, you can drive around. It would take about 3 hours to drive around completely by land and not go over any bridges. As you can see, there's some really nice looking bays up there, and if you own a house anywhere up there that's on a beautiful beach like that, you don't actually own the beach like in other countries. Here the foreshore belongs to everybody, so even though you have a multi-million-dollar house right on the edge of the beach, anybody can come along and have a picnic on your front yard. Obviously on the sand, of course, but not in your front yard. This big prominent point here that's pointing out in the harbour is called North Head Historical Park, or Historical Point. Whoever commanded this hill here commanded the Auckland area, and there was many bloody battles fought here by the Maoris for the right to have occupation of this hilltop and other surrounding hilltops. But this is also a volcano. And this one there. Okay, so it was sold to a society for $1, a preservation society, and they took it under their wing. And now that she's completely restored and used on weekends and anniversary days, and they use it for charter as well. She's coal-fired steam engines in it, and I'm told they're triple expansion steam engines, and there's only 2 of them that are at operating conditions in the southern hemisphere. Okay, coming up on the right here, we have the New Zealand Naval Base. I say that since the days of downsizing and etc., we have only one naval base now. We used to have small reserve bases in other cities around the country, but now everything's been brought back to the Auckland area here. Days gone by, we used to have a squadron of 6 frigates, and these are all English-built frigates purchased from Britain. But now we only have whatsoever. This big boat here is an oiler for a tanker ship, and now they're looking to sink her as a dive site and to become a living wreck. Poor old girl that's had 34 years of service, and they sunk one down in Wellington a couple of months ago. It was called the Wellington, the ship was, and they sunk it in 100 feet of water. And if you have a look at that ship, she's quite a big ship. She weighs 3,000 tonnes. Imagine that sitting on the seabed at 100 feet down. Well, a big storm came through and broke the Wellington into 3 pieces. So it shows you what sort of violent movement there is even at 100 feet. So, they'd be pretty strong ships, the Navy boats. So I don't think I'd like to be out at sea or even underwater when you've got storms like that. Like all Commonwealth navies, New Zealand Navy was a part of the British Empire until 1941. Up to 1941, where the New Zealand Navy, a division of the Royal Navy, put a big fancy house on it. You just basically name their own prices for it. But yeah, that's probably sort of the most valuable land in the Auckland area.